morning, everybody. Is this too loud? You good? Okay. I'll try not to shout in your ears. I know it's still a little bit early. Thank you guys for coming this morning. Actually, I want to share something with you, and I will see if this works to get us started this morning. Maybe. Oh, yeah, there we go. This is Grouch, my dog. I want to share this with you because my dog sitter just sent it to me, and it just made my day. This is what I get to go home to today. I'm excited. I miss that guy. But back to business. So thank you guys so much for coming this morning. I know it's super early, but I'm excited to have you here. We're going to talk a little bit about live events today. And live events is a capability that we released. We made it generally available about 2 months ago, and it's really a way that organizations can connect at scale with people inside their company and outside their company using video and discussion. So first, though, I want to start by talking a little bit about the difference between a meeting and a live event, because I get that question from customers all the time. They say, we have teams and we have meetings, we don't need live events, but there's a distinct difference. So, and events are available in Teams, Yammer, and Microsoft Stream, and we'll talk about that. But meetings are really geared towards many-to-many collaborations where everyone has an equal level of participation. Meaning when I join a meeting, if I'm not the host of the meeting, I'm still able to jump in, share my screen, unmute, start talking, maybe take the agenda off the rails if I desire to. And so everyone kind of has that equal level playing field. Where with events, it's more like one-to-many communications. So with events, you can reach up to 10,000 people. And the audience participation is primarily to interact with the content and audio being shared by the host or presenters. And that is a key differentiator between events and meetings, because people join an event with the expectation to participate in the conversation maybe around the event, but they're there to listen to the host and presenter. So live and on-demand capabilities, as I mentioned, at the heart of it, it's broadcasting to large audiences of thousands of people with video, discussion, and being able to have the attendees participate as well. Driving engagement with these events by using rich videos, sharing your webcam. And then after the fact, also, we have on-demand events listed here because I'm not sure if any of you were in my session the other day, but I shared this stat that within Microsoft and even at our customers that are using live events, the majority of the views don't even happen during the live event. The majority of the views, the all-time views of these videos, happen the day after, in fact. And so I think last I checked the stat, it was about a 30-70 split. 30% of the people watch it live, 70% of the people watch it after the fact, mostly the next day. So it's really these recordings that become so important. And so who's using live events in organizations? It's kind of a mixed bag. So we have a lot of corporate comms people that are using these with their leadership teams to share out their message, their corporate strategy, things like that. But we also have, corporate training, or even just pockets of people inside organizations that are using these to train other people or train people outside of their organization, our customers, or their partners. And so I'm going to spend the most of the time today kind of doing demos for you guys and showing you both the attendee experience and the presenter production experience. But before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about the different types of events you can have, and also share with you some of the differences between hosting an event in Stream versus Yammer versus Teams. Because that is the number 2 most often asked question is, do I need to use one specific app for one specific thing? I'll explain that a little bit. So first, the kind of cool thing about these live events capabilities is they can be as informal as you want, meaning I'm just sharing my webcam and my screen with everybody broadcasting that out. And it can scale all the way up to I'm connecting a lot of really rich production equipment, different audio sources, different content sources, all feeding in. And so these are the type of broadcasts that people use for their CEO town halls. For example, Satya, our CEO at Microsoft, he uses these for his monthly Q&As. And so he has a small stage, small audience, security guards, and most of the people watch online. And so he kind of uses the other spectrum where he has all these very nice cameras set up so they can shoot different angles of the audience and then of him, and they can play videos. And so you can do all of this with these capabilities. So and I'll show you kind of the different experiences in each app, but the short of it is, in Teams, we strategically built live event capabilities in there to, really you can host either kind, but primarily we see customers doing the more informal events in Teams because they're just as easy to set up as a meeting. So if you've ever set up a meeting in Teams, you can set up a live event there as well. And I'll show you that production experience, but you'll see how easy it is to get it scheduled, share your screen, broadcast out. There's also a moderated Q&A associated with the Teams version, whereas if we look at Yammer, we see people primarily using the more curated, professional, like Satya level kind of setup for Yammer. And instead of a moderated Q&A, people are using Yammer because they already have these rich communities, or they want to start these really rich communities around a certain topic, or for example with us connecting with Satya. And Satya has his own Yammer group. So he's able to host the events in there, and people have conversations around them. So, and it's not just a Q&A, it's before the event, during the event, after the event, people are in there talking to each other, connecting with people they don't know, but but talking about things they're really passionate about, like diversity, or things they want Satya to address in the next Q&A. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we have Microsoft Stream. And so in Stream, there's no associated conversation by design. But with Stream, what you can do is we have customers that use Stream as their quote unquote corporate YouTube, which I feel like is a dirty, dirty word every time I say it, but I don't know how else to refer to it. So we have people that use it as their corporate YouTube. So our customers' employee base are used to going to Stream to find their videos, so they're kind of used to going there to watch live events too. But the cool thing you can do with Stream as well is you can take a live event after you've set it up and host the live event in SharePoint. So you can actually embed it on a SharePoint site. So if you have a corporate comms homepage and you want to push people there to watch the event, you can just drop it right in. It's a simple embed. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into demos, and we'll take a look at these experiences. It's so weird sitting down to do a demo. I'm so used to standing up to do this. So I want to start with the attendee experience. And so with live events, it's probably no surprise you have the kind of pane of glass that all of your attendees are going to see. And then on the back end, we have the production experience where I've scheduled this, I've set it up, I'm a presenter perhaps. And so let's start with the attendee view. So as I mentioned before, live events in Yammer are really geared towards people that want to already have an established community perhaps, and they want to host an event inside that community. So here I'm in my executive corner. And I'm going to actually show you guys, I have some past events here. I don't have a new one set up, but I have some past ones, so I want to show you that. But as a side note, if you guys want to test this when you are after the conference, here you can see under group actions, if you own the group, you're able to go here to create the live event. So schedule it, get the link to send to attendees, all that good stuff. But as an attendee, I can come here and I can see all of the events on the right-hand side. And so I'm able to see upcoming events, past events if I want to revisit them. So we're going to go ahead and click into a past event. It's a very similar experience if this was happening live right now. Once you click into it, let me go ahead and get this, make sure my volume's not on so I don't blow us out of the water here. So once you get in there and you start watching the live event, you're able to also go down here, look at the conversation that's already been happening around the event, interact with it directly. Oh, I just unliked Mark's post, he's gonna be sad. Ask questions, and this is kind of where I want to reiterate the importance of the recording and the revisiting it, because we know that way over half of the people that ever watch this aren't going to watch it live. So in Yammer, you're able to come back here and still feel like you're part of the discussion even if you missed the event the day before. And so this experience, like I said, is slightly different than Teams, where there's more of a moderated Q&A. So actually, we'll take a look at Stream first, then we'll jump over to Teams. And then, of course, after the event ends, all of the links that they had for attendees to join live remain the same. None of that changes, and so it's a very seamless experience for an attendee. All right, so over here in Stream, I'm in my Stream portal, and here's a past event that we had the other day. And in this event, like I said, you're able to watch it here in Stream, or if you want, you can actually embed it in SharePoint. And so here's an example of kind of an embed that's happened. And so if you'd like to push people to your SharePoint sites to watch the event live, they can come here. And with the web parts in SharePoint, if you have a different kind of conversation you might want to have around the event, a different QA tool or something, Q&A tool or something like that, you can always embed it around the event as well. So here I'm going to go ahead and watch and stream. And this is a recording, so there's something cool that I put in here. With the recording, all of these recordings of live events, no matter where it happens, since it's mostly Stream on the back end, you get, in all the recordings, you get this transcript, you get the closed captions, the ability to search the transcript, of course, and find various points throughout. And you also get access to a new feature we just added through an integration with Microsoft Forms. So any live event recording, you can embed, let me answer this. You can embed surveys, polls, quizzes, and put them right in your live events. So, or I should say your recorded live events, which is great, because I don't know how many of you guys have attended an event and then received an email the next day that said, can you take this survey? How many people actually do that? Well, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I don't. Even at work, I won't take that survey. But when you're in the moment, it makes a lot more sense. And then you can continue back to the video. So on the team side, let's go ahead and hop over here. So while you can go directly to Stream or Yammer or SharePoint to watch the event, you can also do more of a traditional kind of approach where you put it on somebody's calendar. So after you set up the event, you get a presenter link and you get an attendee link. Pretty straightforward. And so the attendee link, you can put in an Outlook invite, put it on people's calendars, and they're able to join that way as well. So this is not a very pretty one. I just threw this together last night after I rocked out to the gin blossoms. But I wanted to do this so you guys could get a sense for a different way to join. So here, I recorded this a little bit earlier, and this is the attendee experience of a live event in Teams. So here you can see this is playing, I'm presenting stuff, I'm sharing my webcam, and also over here, this is the moderated Q&A. So as an attendee, I can come in here, and it's a much different feel than Yammer, right? I can come in here and I can ask questions. Like that. You also have the ability to post anonymously. Sometimes people get a little bit shy in big groups, and they may want to post a question anonymously so other people don't see them. And then I'll show you the feature when we go ahead and start a new live event. But as a presenter or producer on the back end, what you're not seeing here with the Q&A is the presenters have the ability to remove questions before they're posted publicly, which is great if you get a lot of people asking or putting things in as questions like, I can't hear, the sound is off, you don't want that muddling the dialogue around what's actually being presented. And so as a moderator of this Q&A, you can choose to not post those questions. So with that, let's go ahead and I want to change gears a little bit and show you guys what it looks like on the presenter end. So I'm somebody that wants to get started right away. I want to come in, I want to go ahead and schedule an event. So let me leave this guy. Let's just wait. I have maybe just a couple more minutes, then we can dive into questions. Thank you for asking. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and schedule something in Teams. And like I said, in Stream and Yammer, it's a very somewhat similar process where you click to create a new event, you go through the scheduling process, and there are some nuances there. Today, in Yammer, when you click to create a live event, you'll notice you get shelled over to Microsoft Teams to use their scheduling experience. That is actually going to be moving over to Yammer, where it is more of a compartmentalized experience. So that's one small nuance you may notice today that will be changing in the next month or two. But let's go ahead and dive in here. So I'm going to set up a new event. There's a clever title there. I can also decide here where I want to host this event. You have this ability in Yammer and Teams both. So Yammer, you pick your community you want to host it in. Teams, you pick your channel that you want to host it in, your team. So I'm just going to leave that blank for now. Here's also where you can add your presenters. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. What's that? Oh, you're so smart. I didn't know I had. Actually, do you want to come up here and just? Yes. So thank you for pointing that out. So when you are scheduling a live event in Teams, you know how earlier I mentioned it's just as easy as scheduling a meeting? Well, I almost just scheduled a meeting because that's a very similar flow. So here, live event, invite my presenters. Okay. So after that, I get a couple questions. So the first one is, who am I going to present to? So in Teams today, you can present inside your organization or outside your organization, outside your tenant, essentially. So I can decide I want to present to maybe just a few people in my organization or a specific group, Office 365 group. I can do an org-wide presentation, or public, of course, is exactly what it sounds like. I'm going to broadcast outside my organization, and people are going to be able to join that way. We'll do org-wide. And then I talked a little bit about the two different production types, something from just screen sharing, webcam sharing, scaling all the way up to CEO town hall. I have a stage, I have a lot of video cameras. So that's what we're looking at here. So if I produce in Teams, this just means I'm going to use webcams, I'm just going to share my screen, something easy, and we'll go ahead and do that option for the sake of demoing. So here I also have a few other options. Captions, which are in preview just inside Microsoft, I think, right now, because I'm actually in a dog food version, so you guys are getting a sneak peek at what's coming for the public in a while. We are going to enable across all three of the applications live captions and also translation. And so as people are watching live, you don't need to have anybody sitting next to you feeding in captions. They'll just happen automatically. Correct. Yeah, and so, right, and they're still working on it right now. I'm in the dog food version, so I'm not sure timing on that. I know they're still trying to, there's a lot of nuances to translation, as it turns out, and I'm being exposed to that. You know, it's I'm sure this is not a surprise to anybody, but one word in English means a totally different thing in Chinese, and so we're working on it. That was the long answer. So I'm going to go ahead and select that option, and I'm going to go ahead and get that scheduled. So once I get it scheduled, I have the opportunity here to grab my attendee link, pop it in an Outlook invite, send it to people's calendars. And then as a producer, this is what lands on my calendar. So let's say, for the sake of time, we're going to join the event right now and get it started. it's going to take me to the back end, to my producer view. I'm going to join as a producer. I'm going to turn on my camera. Great. So on the back end as a producer, this is where me and all my presenters join. And this is where we are going to select the content we want to present, get it all staged, and then also this is where we can moderate our Q&A. So there's a couple features back here I want to show you. Obviously the Q&A, which we looked at earlier. So you can see from the producer and presenter view, it looks a little bit different because you can see new questions. You can determine which ones you want to publish, and you can also dismiss questions. There's also a Backchannel Chat. So oftentimes when you're hosting some kind of a webinar or webcast and you have 3 different presenters that are in totally different places, you need a channel where you can say, hey, you're on mute, you know, without actually unmuting and having the attendees hear that. So this is the Backchannel meeting chat. This is only presenters would see this. So unmute Christina. That's where you have these conversations. So let me show you what it looks like to add some content here. So what I'm going to do is I can select a view. I can have just my screen, so just me, or I can add content, or I can have a mix of both. So let's do both. I'm going to click on that and add my video. And then I'm also going to, let's see, we'll go ahead and share that. Okay, cool. Whoops, that's not working. Maybe I will share something else. I wonder what happens when I share my desktop. Oh, no one really cares about that, but. Okay, so I'm going to share my desktop. So here you can add the content from below. This can be a PowerPoint deck. This can be whatever you want. So once you get that set up, we're going to go ahead and send this live. And so the 2 screens that we're looking at, the one that would be on your left is the presenter view. And so the one on the right is the attendee view. And since I haven't started this yet, nobody can see anything. But this is kind of, think about the producer queue as like where you set up all of your content that you're going to be pushing live in a few minutes. You kind of get it staged, make sure everything looks right, all of that. And if I had another presenter, so this is a question I get all the time. If you have a lot of presenters, how do you manage the content across different people? So as a presenter, they would show up down here in the queue where you can see my face right now. And to take control, they simply would click on the screen to add their own content. I think we've seen with other tools like WebEx and things like that, where you kind of hand a ball around and it gets really confusing. But with this, it's pretty straightforward. The presenter is in charge of determining when they need to push content out and when they push it to the attendees. So once I start my event, it's going to say, are you sure you want to do this? Yeah, we want to do it. We're going to go for it. So once I present it then, as the attendee view, so here I can see I'm live. We don't have any attendees that have joined yet. And so the attendee view here, they're seeing this, like we looked at the view earlier. We have Q&A open so people can start publishing questions. I'm going to get some little notifications here. Just ways to improve your view, intelligent things like that, and also telling me how long I have left in the webcast. Webcasts can last up to 4 hours. And yeah, so after the fact, let's end this event. We get a couple cool things. Let me show you. So not only do we get, let me refresh this. So not only do we get the recording, of course. The recording is available pretty quickly afterwards as well. And as I mentioned, the attendee link actually becomes the link to the recording. So here we can download our Q&A report if we want to know all the questions that were asked and share that out. The attendee engagement report, which tells me who joined, how long they joined for, and how they joined as a presenter, as an attendee. And then the transcript you can also download as well. And like we saw in Stream, on the back end of this technology, Stream is the platform driving this. And so all of that rich transcript, things like that you get with the recording, you get no matter what app you're using. So with that, let me make sure my event ended and I'm still not broadcasting my face to somebody. There we go. So with that, let's see if I had anything else. Oh, I wanted to show you guys the mobile view really quick, and then we can just open it up to Q&A and dive into that. So the Teams app, Yammer app, and Stream app all support the ability for attendees to watch live events on their phone. And so you'll see actually on the second video down, this was a live event that happened, and so you see the little indicator there that says this was a live event. And in my Stream mobile app, but you get the same thing in Teams and Yammer, so something of a notification to tell you that this is different than just another either meeting, recording, or video you might have. So when I click on this, this is the exact same experience as the live view. I'm able to also pull in my Yammer conversation. So even though I'm in the Stream app, if I set this up in Yammer and I want to pull that Yammer conversation into Stream or even Teams, I can easily do that. And then, of course, after the fact, since this is a recording, I can download it, I can watch it offline, I can add it to my watch list. Oh, and I lied. There's actually one more thing I wanted to talk to you about, and it might be TMI, but I think it's important. It's not any more dog pictures. But I can't imagine who would not welcome that. The last thing I wanted to talk to you a little bit about was for live events. Let me see if I can present this. Cool. Come on. Thanks for bearing with me through all of these fun technical issues. Okay, sweet. So the setup I showed you in Teams, like I mentioned, is for that kind of informal, I'm just going to share my screen, I'm just going to use my webcam. But for the more studio kind of grade events, what you're going to use, and don't let this term scare you, if you're not familiar with the term encoder, you will use a hardware or software encoder. And that those are the top box there. Those are some of the encoders that Stream is compatible with, and Teams and Yammer. And so what the encoder does is it's essentially like this piece of software that connects all of the feeds, multiple video cameras, audio sources, any media content things that you want to do. You can add lower thirds, title cards, whatever. So it really allows you to be able to customize that. And then that feeds into Stream, Yammer, and Teams to broadcast out. And to be perfectly honest, the first time I downloaded, I use OBS, I use Wirecast, I use a bunch of different encoders depending on my need, but the first time I looked at an encoder, I was terrified because there was all these different things I could do, but they're actually quite straightforward, and they help you make beautiful broadcasts pretty easily. So that's that, and then on the bottom half, you'll see some of our ECDN partners. Now, as many of you know, when you have 10,000 people watching a live stream at the same time, your network could get impacted. So if your network is not able to handle that kind of traffic, we have integrations with ECDN partners, which at the end of the day, make sure that your attendees have a seamless experience. They don't see spinners, they're able to join, and your network doesn't come crashing down. So that's a quick overview of that. And here's just a link to more resources that talk about how to set up live events, if you want to get started, things like that. And I will go ahead and open it up to questions.